If you have questions or suggestions, you can direct message me on Instagram. And if your question is not gay as fuck, I will answer it. No, seriously, if question's already been answered, I'll let you know. These are all going up on support.shoptjbc.com. That's my support page. And only a few of these are going to be going on YouTube. I'm going to stop, posting all this shit on YouTube because I want to make sure that all this stuff gets saved in one location for you guys. I don't know if you guys know this, but when I started working on Honda Shadows, in late 2005, I bought a 2006 model VT600 in Oregon, and it rained about 5 minutes after I left the dealership. And then it started snowing, and then I ate shit over a manhole. It was a great first ride. And then I ran out of gas. It's fantastic. Yeah, I pulled all those stupid shit things when I first started riding. But like 12 years ago, there was nothing for Honda Shadows. For the VT600, if you wanted like cool shit, you were basically stuck with either modifying some kooky Harley stuff, or you could get flames and skulls on everything. That's basically all you had. There was no other choice. So I honestly just started I looked at my bike and I was like, well, this is more gay than when gay came to Gay Town. Queer's $3 bill. I hate it. It looks terrible. So I started tearing into it and trying to make it my own, I did really simple shit like, take off all the blinkers first. And I'll never forget my friend Clint. Clint Case, he owns Bruiser Custom Cycles. He does really good leather work. I don't know if they do custom bikes anymore, but he does great, phenomenal leather work. Just some of the best I've ever seen. But he actually showed me how to weld. There wasn't jack shit out there for Honda Shadows. There wasn't. I think I started out with like some block off plates. My stand doesn't charge it. No, it's just a little tripod that holds the camera. And I managed to make another stand work with it that holds my phone. So there's a phone, then a camera. Anyways, I think I made like some AIS block off plates or somebody. I think somebody was actually selling those. And a few years later, I tried to figure out who the fuck was making them. I could not find anybody. And I was like, okay, well, I need them for a bike. I'll just make them by hand. And believe it or not, I was cutting out AIS block-off plates by hand out of brass and aluminum. Oh, that's kind of moronic. It took forever. It actually took forever. But people wanted them. People needed them. So I kept it up, and I started selling them. I eventually got a big cartel site and, sold single cable throttle assemblies, air injection system block-off plates. I started, putting together the stainless bolt kits that I have now, which we literally sell on a daily basis. Thumbs up if I poop today. Every day. What was your first welder? Question by Called It. My very first welder was some random Hobart that my brother-in-law gave me, and it was a booger thrower. It had flux core wire and no gas feed, and I didn't do anything on a bike with that, just so you know. It stopped working pretty quickly after getting it, and I ended up selling it to a guy who, he fixed welders. He was like, hey man, I'm not gonna lie to you, I can fix it up, I'll give you X amount for it. It's like, great, wonderful. So my first real welder that I used for a long time was a Miller-Matic 211 with the auto set, and I still have it today. It's right here next to me. It's a fantastic welder. It is easy to use. If you're not familiar with MIG welding, it's great to practice on. I would encourage you not to use the auto set setting on it. I would use the actual dial and mess around and learn. I actually have a booklet that I came across the other day, which was all my notes from welding. And every time I was like, okay, so I've got 1/4 inch steel, it's mild steel, I've cleaned it, I prepped it, I'm trying to do a butt weld, and I'm doing these settings. And so I write, okay, bad penetration. And I go back and change my settings and, figure out how to properly weld. I mean, Clint Case actually showed me how to use a welder and how to weld something together. But, there's a lot of learning that goes along with figuring out how a welder actually works and how to apply it properly. I I've been TIG welding for a long time before I actually TIG welded on anybody's bike or any parts. And I didn't want to TIG weld on something and have it be total shit and be like, yeah, look at that, garbage. So I was TIG welding for about 3 years before I did anything for anybody else. Just a lot of practice and a lot of personal shit, you know. But that's not to say MIG welding is better than TIG or TIG's better than MIG. They both have their uses. TIG is just extremely versatile. It takes a lot more skill. You're operating your foot, you're using your hand to feed wire, and you're using your other hand to control where the electrode goes, how close to the material it is, how far away. You know, there's CFM settings on your regulator you have to worry about. You have to worry about what kind of rod you're using, how clean your material is. MIG is a little easier. You can set things up a little more rough and tumble and still get a decent weld. And you're just pulling a trigger. There's no foot. There's none of this monkey business.